Okay, welcome to the first of my weekly vlogs. I'm going to be trying to do this as the weeks go on. So you may notice the camera's a bit shaky, so I'm filming it on my phone. Since I'm trying to do a no editing style of, well, I say no editing style of video, I'll probably put my logo up in the corner and I may do a little bit of editing in case I want to do any seamless editing. But in these vlogs, I'm just going to try and chat a little bit about what's been going on in terms of role play for myself over the last week. You can hear my cats just come in there, but I've not actually done much in terms of tabletop this week, and that's mainly because at the weekend I was at a live action event, and tabletop is my main preference when it comes to the hobby, but I do also enjoy live action, which for those of you who don't know is effectively dressing up as your character and fighting with weapons, normally foam latex weapons, and actually acting out the stuff you normally do around tabletop. Obviously there's limitations to that. You can't actually fucking throw fireballs or anything ridiculous like that, so you do have to accept that there are certain limitations when it comes to the medium, and there are certain things that live action does well, probably a little bit better than tabletop, and there are certain things that tabletop does a little bit better than live action. Although they have a lot of similarities and they both stem from the same sort of initial genesis, they are quite different. But I enjoy both of them, and I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with LARP. There's sometimes when I really enjoy it, and there's some aspects of it, like, you know, I've got a lot of good friends there. I enjoy meeting up with them. It's a bit of a break, as well as getting to do some role play that I really enjoy. There's other things that I don't enjoy, like a lot of the plots are often quite formulaic due to, again, the limitations of the medium, since the refs have a tremendous job to do. That, I mean, sometimes I find it difficult to ref a game for like 5 people when you're around a tabletop, and the prep involved in that can be massive. Imagine trying to run a game with a whole team of refs and marshals and stuff like that for hundreds or thousands of people. I can only imagine the work must be staggering. It's certainly not something I'd look to do myself, but fair play to the people who do it. Absolute heroes, and they normally pull together a really good event. The event I went to at the weekend was an event by a faction, which is like a group in the actual campaign world, and it was a faction that I've had a few characters that belong to. It's a faction called the Lions faction, and they were basically travelling to one of their islands that had been taken over by the undead, or the unliving as they're called in the Lorien Trust system. And I was going along to Monster, which effectively means you pretty much get in for free. You don't have to pay to enter the event, but you're not playing your character. You're actually playing all the various NPCs, the monsters, the baddies, etc., and also any sort of talky NPCs that come along. Now, I really enjoyed the event. Great fun. I had the great fortune to reprise a role that I'd done on one of the larger events over the course of the year, which is the NPC called Sir Peregrine, who is a corrupted ancestral construct who believes, for right or wrong, that he's a knight. Now, when he was first discovered, he'd effectively been created with this idea of justice following the ancestor Celestial, which there is a large group of players called the Celestial Knights in the Lions faction who follow the same ancestor. And Celestial is the ancestor of justice, but of taking your time and making sure you reach true justice rather than the most expedient route. Now, someone or something has been trying to corrupt the essence of that ancestor, and the NPC, Sir Peregrine, was created as part of that. He was an ancestral creature that espoused the concept of justice, as Celestial did, and seemed to originate from Celestial, but he espoused justice via the most expedient route possible. So when the players came across me, I'd basically gone to an island. I'd seen that there were loads of bandits and people robbing the local farmers, and I thought, right, well, I'll put a stop to that. And I just started murdering criminals and putting them on spikes by the side of the road. Walking around the island, basically going, if you commit a crime, any crime, that's what will happen to you. Now, obviously, that's not the right and just way the faction believes things should be done, so they turned to stop me. However, when they turned to stop me, all of the people of the island, the farmers, the law-abiding people, were actually there to defend me, since they were like, well, he's effectively eliminated crime on the island, we're all safe. Initially, it looked like there was a bit of a combat going to break out that may not have gone in the players' favour, but they were able to talk Sir Peregrine round into seeing that perhaps his way was not the only way. And after they realised that he seemed more concerned about the treatment of the people than himself, they managed to barter with him that in return for treating these people fairly and only prosecuting those who had actually committed serious crimes, he would go along with them voluntarily, and they would try and teach him about the true ways of their law. This was all absolutely fine and dandy, and as I say, I reprised this NPC at the event last weekend. However, in this case, the player group had, through incaution or misstep or a miscommunication, had used a wonder, a magical item, which effectively produces an army of ancestral creatures. And they'd used this army intending for it to scour the island of undead, making their job a lot easier. But something went wrong when they used it, and the targeting was a little off, and it also killed a large number of innocent people, Lantian citizens, Lantian being the group of islands that the faction comes from. Now, my NPC was obviously terribly upset about this, since I'd been bought in saying, no, just randomly killing people isn't the way of doing it. It isn't the truth, the honour and the justice that the Lions espouse. It's not the way of Lions law. So to arrive on this island thinking, oh, I want to see these people in action, see how they espouse these values, to then have them indiscriminately unleash this ancestral army and effectively butcher 60 odd innocent people along with their enemies, was obviously a bit of a kick in the dick for the NPC that I was playing. So I had great fun playing this NPC. He was trying to restrain himself, trying to make himself better, but at the same time trying to fight against the instinct to mete out swift justice to the people he believed responsible. Not helped by some of the player characters who, as far as the NPC was concerned, were just presenting excuses as to why they were the people responsible or why no one individual was responsible, which didn't sit very well with the NPC, although there was some great roleplay from the players involved. Really enjoyed interacting with them. Great stuff. So I had a great time at the event. Hopefully get to do that NPC at some point in the future. Really looking forward to that. In terms of actual tabletop, like I say, not much going on at the minute, although I do have a game next weekend, which is my Jade Punt game, which I'm looking forward to running after the player characters sort of have unleashed this huge Cthulhu-esque blood god called Al Nagra on the city of Kausau. And yes, I did steal that name from Blade. I'm quite happy to admit that. But they've unleashed this thing on the city, this blood monstrosity, this Cthulhu-esque creature. It intends to destroy the city as was and rebuild it as part of a new Almac empire, the Almac being loosely based on the Aztecs, and build these huge ziggurats to its glory and rule over it as a sort of god king, I suppose would be the way of looking at it. And I'm interested. It was a little bit unexpected how it occurred, but I was very happy with how the session went. We were unfortunately down a player, but the other two seemed to really enjoy themselves. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do, and in my next week's vlog, I'll give a bit of a report on that and how I think that all went. What else have I been up to? I've also been enjoying playing in Jenny's Warhammer game, which is very entertaining. Now we've sort of regened characters that are working better as a cohesive unit and are more willing to get involved in the sort of faith-based plot. I'm playing a young, very honourable Bretonnian knight, which we fought against some sort of evil Strigoi / vampire creature in a mausoleum last session, which did me some quite serious damage, but we were able to overcome it and save the town. And it was nice to be playing a sort of honourable, truthful, sort of honest character. It's not something that I've done for a little bit of a while, since I don't tend to go for the sort of paladins and things like that. So it was quite interesting to do. And I've not played a Bretonnian before in Warhammer, so it's quite interesting to find out about the background of that. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. And indirectly, that's led on to me, a friend of mine who's playing has started running a group of knights in the Lorien Trust system, the live action system that I'm going to. It's led to a possible future character that have a sort of old, sort of slightly Brian Blessedy sort of knight who's a bit past his prime, probably a little bit senile, but still sort of holding to his ideas of honour and justice, which has all sort of been fed into by the enjoyment I'm getting out of playing a knight in Jenny's game. So all of the sort of stuff I tend to do with characters, whether it be tabletop, live action, whatever, all tends to feed into each other, and I take inspiration from one game to use in another game and sort of cross-pollinate these ideas, and that helps me both keep a track of what I'm doing and also sparks off ideas, since I wasn't really sure about the idea of playing a knight in live action. it seemed like quite a lot of effort. You've got to have the metal armor, you've got to have all the fizz reps, you've got to be that character. However, playing a Knight in Jenny's game really did allow me to see that I actually quite enjoy playing one of the sort of good, for want of a better term, characters. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes whenever I get to play it in the future, because I'm in no hurry to get rid of my current character, so that'll happen when it happens, but at least it's always nice to have a few options. So that's my vlog for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. You'll consider clicking on the red dice, which should be up there if I've done my job right, and I will see you next time. Take care.